So it's been quite a while since I started off a video by thanking all of the viewers. I've had a few people in the comments comment, saying, hey, look, you don't have to do that every video. And they're right about that. But I do like to do it every once in a while because it is genuine. I really do appreciate all the love and support that you guys show me and show the channel. And it's like every video I put out gets over 1,000 views, and we're getting close to where that's over 1,500 views for every video. And I'm picking up, 20 new subscribers every time. And I have other content creators messaging me being like, dude, how are you growing so fast? And how are you getting so many subscribers and all these things? And I'm just like, I don't have answers for you. It's, it's my awesome community. So thank you guys so much. And a special thank you to those of you out there who, even when you don't have a specific comment to make on a video, you leave a comment that says, for Google Analytics, or, for the algorithm or whatever. And, you guys are the real heroes in my opinion. So I really appreciate you guys who do that. So what I want to do is I want to put out a two-part video talking about how Ashes of Creation is going to be the most anti-meta MMO of all time, or that's ever been made. And in order to do that, we all need to start from the same place. And so that's why I've broken this video down into two parts. And this first part is going to be talking about our characters, the leveling of the characters, putting in our skill points, like how we're going to go about building a character. That way we're all starting from the same point with the video that'll come out tomorrow that shows how the game is going to be anti-meta. So that's kind of where we're starting with it. So a little bit of this information is going to be stuff that you guys have already seen or already heard or you already know. But hopefully there's going to be some new stuff in there. And there is one part in particular, a question that was answered in the most recent AMA or the most recent live stream that helps a lot with us knowing exactly how we're going to go about building our characters in this game. So let's get right into it.
What you think about when you're born into a fire?
Real quick before I get started, I just do want to remind you guys to hit that like or thumbs up button if you like this type of content. And if you have not subscribed already, please go ahead and subscribe. Also, I have a really active Discord community that's building around Ashes of Creation, and we kind of talk about Ashes pretty much every day, not every single day, but there's a lot of Ashes conversation and like little tidbits, people sharing things that they found, leveling guides and all kinds of stuff there already. So the link will be in the description below. Drop in and say hi and come hang out with us. We'd love to have you around. So getting right into this, we're going to start off with a brand new character. We're creating a brand new character here. Okay. And so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to pick your race. And right now there are no active or passive differences between the races. It is purely cosmetic. There is also not a stat spread difference. So it's not like, dwarves have more constitution than humans or something like that. At least not that I've noticed. I can't see any difference at all between them. They seem to all be exactly the same. And we actually don't know, as far as I know, if there are going to be differences. And of course, if they do have differences between the classes or between the races that are not purely cosmetic, that will immediately put in the possibility for some type of meta, right? If one class has a little bit better mana regeneration, they're going to be better for DPS classes that are always starved for more mana to cast their ability, as an example. But we don't know about that right now. So the first thing you'll do is you pick your race. The next thing you're going to do is pick your class. I've described this before, but I'll just describe it again really quickly. These base classes: fighter, tank, rogue, ranger, mage, summoner, cleric, and bard. Those are the 8 base classes, and you'll be choosing what the game calls your primary archetype. The most important thing about this is that your primary archetype cannot be changed. So once you've created that character, you're done. You're locked into that character class from now on. And once you've hit that character creation button, you're actually going to get put in game, and you're going to be running around, and you're going to be killing mobs and doing quests and stuff and leveling up. And as you level up, you're going to put points into the skill tree. And this here is an example of the skill tree as it currently looks in game. This was taken from this picture right here, was actually taken from Steven's screen during the last live stream. So it's not breaking the visual NDA. So this is what the skill screen currently looks like. I suspect that it'll probably change before launch, but this will give you a good example of what it's, supposed to look like. You can see we have 3 trees here: the passive, the active, and the weapon trees. Right now, weapons The weapon skills are not in game, so we don't really know a lot about how those are going to work. And so you're going to share points for all three of these trees. So you're going to have the same pool of points for all three trees. And so you're going to have to really pick and choose which skills you want and which skills you're going to leave by the wayside. So with that in mind, I want you to take a look at these active skills here, and you can see that there are multiple skills, and then you see the little 1 up in the corner of each one of them. That is showing you what level you have invested in those skills. So if we take a look at this skill tree that is offered on the wiki, let's take a look at the tank ability here, Onslaught, which is the first skill you can unlock once you get into the game. And you'll see that it says that you charge your target and provides a small damage absorbing shield and generates additional threat. So it's just a gap closer that has a very small ablative effect where you'll have a small damage shield, and then it generates threat, which most of the tank abilities do. But if you put another point into it, you get increased damage, increased shielding, and knocks down the target. So now it's doing a little more damage. You're getting a little more of a ablative effect, and you get a knockdown or a stun effect on the enemy. So you can see that just putting points in that dramatically affects the ability of that skill. It goes from a decent skill and a gap closer to now it's a gap closer with a stun on it. So that's a big, gap or a big leap. And then if you take the third ability on it, you can see that it's increased damage, increased shielding, and knocks up targets along the charge path. So anything in between you and the target that gets hit get knocked up into the sky, and so they get, lose control of their character for a second, and they can't attack and they can't use abilities and stuff. And so again, you've further augmented this skill and made it a lot better. Okay, so that is how things are going to work as far as your first 25 levels of the game. You're going to be leveling up, you're going to be getting skills, and you're going to be putting those skills in the skill tree and getting these types of upgrades to your skills. And each one of them, it gets progressively better and better and better. So once you get to level 25, you're going to pick a secondary class, and that is going to be one of the 8 classes that you already chose from. You get to choose again any one of those 8, and it makes up your secondary class. So you can see in this chart here how that works. So you can see here, if you choose the base class of a fighter and then you take a secondary class as a tank, that is going to make you a dreadnought. That is the final class. And when that happens, you're going to get access to a set of augments that are based on your secondary class choice. So you're still going to use the same skills that we've already shown. You still have these same skills. Now, this is just level 1 through, I think, 10 or 15 skills. So there will be more options for skills than these. These are the only ones we know about. But you will just have the tank skills, and your secondary class will inform or change the way those skills work or add effects to them, and it will augment them in some way. So one thing that a lot of people have been kind of debating or arguing about over quite a bit of time is whether or not you would choose your skills, your augments for your skills on a skill by skill basis, or if they would be chosen by an entire school of augments. And so Stephen answered that in the last live stream. So let's take a look at that.
Half-Tilt Gamer wants to know from our forums, augments. Will I be selecting augments on a per skill basis, or can I only choose one augment school for my whole build?
No, you'll be selecting them on a per skill basis. So the augments will stem from a few things, from your secondary archetype selection, from perhaps any organizations and or religions you're a part of, and then as you have those selections available and you go across your individual active skill set that's derived from your primary archetype, you'll have a selection of augments that will be applicable to different skills.
So as you can see from there, we're going to be choosing our augments based on a skill by skill basis per Stephen himself. So for example, on the Onslaught skill, I'm going to be able to choose to use the augment that I got from my secondary archetype, or I could choose an augment that I got from another place. And so let's talk a little bit about that. We are going to get augments from a lot of other places besides just your secondary archetype. You're standing within whatever religion you are, or the other social institutions that are in the game. And they haven't gone real deep into what those social institutions will be, but I always think of it like the Hunter's Lodge and like the Fighters Guild from Skyrim and stuff, institutions like that might have existed in kind of a fantasy medieval type of setting, you're going to be able to join those organizations. And as you go up and rank up in those organizations, you're going to get skill augments. There are skill augments for what node type you're in and what level that node is. There are skill augments for what guild you're in, what level the guild is, and how many people are in that guild. So there are lots of different places you get augments. So I may choose to have the augment for my secondary archetype on my Onslaught skill, but on the Bulwark skill, I choose the augment that is because of the fact that I'm in a guild that has, 50 players and is level 8 or whatever. So that really is going to, change the way that a lot of people were looking at it, because a lot of people thought that you were going to choose them on an entire school basis. So if you wanted to have the Onslaught augment that came from your secondary archetype, you had to have all of the augments that came from your secondary archetype, and that's not the case. And then the last thing that we'll get a little bit into is you will get all the way to the maximum level, and at that point, you're going to start doing a lot of horizontal progression or gearing out. You've already reached the maximum vertical progression. You've already reached max level. And so you're going to be looking at gear and augments to your gear as where you're going to go from there. So again, you're going to be getting gear that is going to be acquired through both crafting or through killing bosses. And there are augments for gear as well. So again, killing bosses are going to do that. Raids are going to do that. I would imagine there's going to be both skill and gear augments associated with taking down nodes and like sieging nodes, sieging castles, PvP type of things, the military system, the bounty hunter system. All of those things are would give, I would assume, both gear and skill augments. So that's how we're going to build our character. We're going to pick a race and a class. We're going to level up. We're going to put skills into points, and we're going to share those points across multiple different skill trees. Then we're going to get a secondary archetype, which is going to inform our final class. By the way, that secondary archetype can be changed. There will be, it looks like maybe a quest line and potentially an in-game cost, money cost, to do that. But anyway, you will pick that out, pick one out. You will choose your augment on a skill by skill basis. You will reach max level, and then you will start gearing out, and you will start picking gear that synergizes with the build that you've created for your character up to that point. So that's really all I have for this particular video. Please stay tuned for tomorrow's video, where I'm going to go into how this particular system, the way that they've done this, the way that we're going to build our characters, is going to turn Ashes into the least meta MMO that anyone has ever created. Subscribe to the channel, and I'll see all you guys tomorrow.